All right, just when you thought that it was all over for Marvel, think again. Now, was it really over for Marvel? Did Brand New Day come in and save the day? I'm gonna answer that question because I don't think so. Now, if you are a writer and if you're really into Marvel movies, these are 5 tips that's gonna help you to be a better writer, just like the Marvel writers. All right, so you have to have a pen and paper on you, and there may be a quiz after this. So here we go. Number 1, focus on redemption. Ground big sci-fi battles in a flawed person seeking grace. Give your characters a strong moral compass and a soul that needs saving. All right, now this is what we got out of the movie Spider-Man. And also not just Spider-Man, but a lot of Marvel movies, they do this. That's why we come to see them. We don't want to see a character that has it all together, because I don't have it all together and neither do you, right? We want to see somebody that's been going through the trenches, that has taken their licks, that's been knocked down, but then they get back up like Captain Marvel or like Tony Stark. Again, especially Tony Stark, flawed character. Look at how arrogant he was. He had to be humbled many times. And then we see him as the hero that he is. Now, when the character Spider-Man, all right, when he was being put together, the creator at that time, Stan Lee, said that Spider-Man is relatable. When I was a little boy watching Spider-Man, I said, yeah, he's one of my favorite heroes because he makes mistakes. He doesn't have it all together. He's not rich. He's not living in a palace. He's not like Bruce Wayne or anyone like that. I know that's kind of like the DC world, but still, he's flawed, but then he grows. All right. Now this one is number 2. Write righteous villains. The best antagonists truly believe they are doing the right thing. Challenge your heroes with foes who test their virtues. This is very important. When it comes to the villain of the story, that is one of the best characters. You can't have a hero. A hero by himself is not that impressive. Really, if you think about it, a hero is not tested. A hero just saves the day, but what really makes the hero shine is the villain, is the antagonist, is that pressure point, is that friction. And then with that friction, the hero molds and grows into the person that you come to know and respect. So it's the villain of the story that really makes the story stand out. But here's a problem with a lot of storytelling these days. And I talked about this with my son, Elijah, because we talk about movies all the time. When we watch movies, even the movies that we like, we know on the first take, as soon as they enter the room, oh yeah, that's the villain. Why? Because it has like a villain type of music in the background, because he looks kind of sinister. Because he treats his people in a really bad way, like awful way. Who want to be around this guy? He treats everyone bad. So that's the villain. Okay, we got to do better, writers, right? We got to make villains lovable, like even charismatic, cool, and adorable. We can make our villains like that because really there's villains in the world outside of Marvel that they have a huge following. A lot of people love them, even though they're doing bad things. But a real villain also treats his people pretty well. He remembers their birthdays. He gives gifts. He loves his mom. Every mobster loves their mama, right? So a true villain, when we're writing him or her, they have to be righteous. They have to believe in their cause, like Thanos. Thanos believed in his cause, even though it was awful, but he shed a tear. He was emotional. He was emotionally invested. He wanted to destroy half of all living things because of resources and he felt that he could rebuild a better world. Make your characters righteous and you're going to have people reading your work, listening to your work time and time again. Tip number 3. Now, this one is a killer. Balance humor and heart. Use jokes to relieve tension. Just make sure the humor never undercuts the serious weight of true sacrifice. Marvel does this well. In fact, I think Marvel does this better than DC, because DC sometimes could be heavy. I know they're trying to lighten things up and everything, but I don't think that's their bread and butter, really. But what the good thing that Marvel does, just when it's getting intense, they throw in a joke here and there, but they don't let the humor overshadow everything. For myself, when I'm writing stories, I try to put in some funny moments. I do that naturally because you know what? In real life, there's comedy. There's not just tragedy. Even in the darkest times, you could find something to laugh about. It really is. At my workplace, oh my goodness, I've seen a lot of comedy, but I've worked in some really bad neighborhoods. But there's comedy there. There's comedy gold, as they say. So when you're writing your stories, when you're putting things down on pen and paper or to the screen, remember the comedy aspect of it. It's not just a throw-in, because real life, it does have its funny moments as well. Point number 4, drop early clues. Scatter small mysteries early in your scripts. This rewards attentive listeners and sets up future story arcs perfectly. That's what Marvel does with all of their movies. I think they're at, 36 movies right now? In all of their movies, they drop a little clues here and there. They're the masters at setting things up. Now, you could do that as well. You could do a little bit of a cheat. What you could do is you could write your story, your short story, or your novel on the first draft, and then you go back. This is what I do. Then you go back to the beginning, and then you drop little clues. You drop little foreshadowing here and there, and then at the end, when somebody reads your story, they say, "Wow, this guy is a genius. She is incredible. How did she create all of this? What's in her mind?" That's because she dropped these little clues here and there. It entices people. People are waiting for the next thing and the next thing. And that is what Marvel is great at. Now, this leads us to probably the best of the best. Number 5, ground the supernatural. Even gods deal with grief, pride, and family betrayal. Root your expansive sci-fi concepts in relatable human struggles. Yeah, we need to ground in the supernatural. You can't just have characters that could bust through walls, that could create lightning out of nothing, that could create magic, that could move through dimensions. You could have all of that, but if you don't ground them into something that we could relate to, then you're going to lose us. I think that's why some people didn't like that character, Dr. Manhattan. What movie was he from again, Dr. Manhattan? I'll show you him right here. If you know what movie he's from, just let me know because it just lost my mind. But I thought he was great, but a lot of people didn't get into him, and a lot of people didn't like that movie. Why? Because he was just supernatural. He was more supernatural and more super than Superman. He could do anything. He was like a god, and they didn't personalize him. He wasn't morally good or morally bad. He was cold. He wasn't a villain. He wasn't a hero. He was just out of this world. And a lot of people, they just avoided that movie and they didn't want to watch it. Call me a weirdo. I like the movie. But I think I know what they mean because he wasn't grounded. He didn't have anything that's going on. He didn't experience any grief. He did a lot of bad things, I guess, but there was no grief. There was no guilt. There was nothing at all. You don't want your characters like that. Even Thor has family drama. Look at the first and the second movie, especially the second movie. There was some family drama. There was some complex with Loki and everything else, and we could relate to that because sometimes our family could be dysfunctional. We could have feuds. Family Feud. Remember that show? But that's another story. But so you want to ground your characters within real world context. Now, I'm going to give you a bonus, all right? So that was number 5, but stay tuned. Here is the bonus. Number 6, the bonus one. Tease the next story. Leave your audience with a tiny hook at the very end to keep them eagerly waiting for your next release. Some people, or I should say a lot of people, I was at the SpiderMan movie with my son, and we've been trained after, I think, 36 movies of the Marvel Studios, we've been trained to sit at the very end and wait for the credits. So at this movie experience, hardly anyone got up because they know, oh yeah, there's going to be a hidden scene coming up. What is it going to be? So we just waited around. Like, no one got up. Are you crazy? It's a Marvel movie. You know that they're going to leave you with a little bit of a teaser. And they did. It was a small teaser. Wasn't the greatest teaser, but I still enjoy the movie. But that's what they do. So when you are writing your stories, you want to leave them with a teaser. You want to put a little bit of a pebble under their shoe so that they'll think about you when the movie is done or when they close your book and they say, I wonder what he's going to do next. Oh, he left that kind of cliffhanger. I wonder what he's going to do. Some people, they don't like that. I heard some people that say, oh my goodness, Marvel always does this. They set you up for the other movie and the other movie and then the other movie. Well, those people, they don't have to watch those movies and they don't have to read your books. But in order to make an impact, give some teasers. I gave a teaser a little bit at the beginning of this video, slightly. Does this movie, Spider-Man Brand New Day, save Marvel? I think Marvel was already fine. I mean, they had Fantastic Four. Remember that? Fantastic Four? That did great. Thunderbolts did great. So all of this talk about did Spider-Man save it or would Doomsday save it? I think that's kind of nonsense, really. When you look at the facts, when you look at the receipts, as they say, when you look at how much they've accumulated, how much of an impact they have made. Yeah, this movie has more of an impact, I guess, than some of the other movies, but it doesn't mean that this one absolutely saved Marvel from the trenches. Let me know what you think. Please leave your comments down below. I'd like to hear from you. Thank you very, very much for spending the time with me. By the way, check out my podcast. It's an audio drama, so you got to listen to it. It's at welcometoearthstories.com. Season 9 is coming out later on this year.